Good Friday morning. Welcome to the KY3 Digital Desk. I'm Anna Johnson. I've got Chad Pline with me today because we're talking sports, because Friday's end of the week is usually our Ozone time frame, and that's when people are looking at sports. A lot of games happen over the weekend, and football is top of mind.
Everybody's living for the weekend, of course. Friday night's going to kick off with a lot of beautiful games tonight around the Ozarks, and then Saturday, a lot of college football again all over. I mean, the big game everybody's talking about, Colorado and Coach Deion Sanders taking on USC. That's going to be a game right there in the middle of the afternoon on Saturday. But also the Missouri State Bears. Yeah. They begin Valley play. That's conference play this weekend. They're on the road with Southern Illinois. It's always a tough trip going out there to play the Salukis. Somebody who's going to be absent from that game is going to be Art Haynes, the play-by-play voice of the Bears. He's overcome a lot in the last year. West Nile virus took him down at the Arkansas game last year. We were there, and really he just kind of started to feel weak, and all of a sudden that progressed into West Nile, and didn't know if he would be back, when he would be back, what he would look like when he came back. But this past week, he was able to be at home for the Bears' home opener. Mark Spillane was able to catch up with the play-by-play voice of the Bears who made that return to the booth. Here's Mark.
The sights and the sounds. Every football fan knows them. And Saturday, those sights and sounds finally returned to Missouri State for the Bears' home opener.
We always have a good crowd the first home game, and then you add family weekend. And we've had a really good crowd. It's packed on this side, and it really makes a difference. Our guys love it when they see a lot of people up there.
Amidst the sounds of a thriving stadium, a familiar voice rang through.
A very pleasant good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Bears football at Plaster Stadium.
For the first time in more than a year, the voice of the Bears was back.
It was a big deal for me to sign on after a little bit over a year's absence from the airwaves and be in that booth again.
Art Haynes' long battle with West Nile virus often made his return to the booth seem impossible.
There were times I wasn't sure I was going to live.
But Art never lost hope, telling himself he'd not only live, but return to the job he loves.
I kind of was able to kick back the naysayers and figure I'm going to beat this thing.
True to his word, with his family by his side, Art has bounced back, sounding as good as ever.
Alongside Clark, he throws the fade into the end zone, and it is caught for a touchdown.
That was just an incredible moment to witness that and see him up there in the press box and look down on the field and do his thing.
Art's return replaces something that's been missing from the fabric of Missouri State athletics.
It just seems more authentic. Let's not discount anybody else. We appreciate everybody that's helped out and continues to help out, but he's the guy, right? And we want the guy if we can have the guy.
Of course, Art's always been the guy, but now he's more popular than ever before.
To see all of the people come up and say, hey, you sounded great, thank you for being back on the air, was a joy.
A joy for all of us, and a joy for Art himself.
I don't know how much longer I'll be able to do this, but we want to do it for a little while longer because I just love being part of the game. Manning in the backfield, Clark back to throw for the end zone, caught, touchdown!
He loves being able to bring color and illustrate the games to people listening on the radio, so that is just his life.
And what a story.
It is. It's an incredible story, and obviously we are always paying attention to football on that level. There's a lot of high school things going on as well this weekend.
Yeah, and tonight, Brandon says it's going to be a beautiful night. Usually you think blankets this time of the year when we're at week 6 of the high school football season, but shorts, those are the ones in order. Going to be, what, 86 at kickoff, probably about mid-70s by the time the games end, around 9:30. Going to be a beautiful night, and of course the Ozone website has everything for you, get you covered and ready for that game. So I want to start, though, by taking a look down here on the football section at the class rankings right now, because the latest state rankings came out for high school football. The large class right now, Nixa still remains undefeated. They're ranked 4th right now in Class 6. They've got a home game tonight with Carl Junction. Carl Junction right now is trying to find their way in the conference, so it should be an easy game for Nixa. But of course, no games are ever easy in high school football. It always depends what happens. Class 5, you got Webb City once again right back there at the top, 4-1 after that week 1 loss to Nixa. But right there, knocking on the door, Lebanon and Republic. That Republic-Nixa game, that's going to be a game to look forward to here in a couple of weeks. That will be at Nixa this year. So it should be a really good one to take underway. Just rounding out our area, Class 4 Bolivar is ranked 9th right now. They, of course, now are part of the Ozark Conference for a second straight year. Mount Vernon and Ava, the SCA and the Big 12 being represented right there in Class 3, ranked 6th and 7th. In Class 2, Fairgrove, that's going to be our game of the week tonight. The Eagles at 5-0. Playing host to the Stratford Indians. These two teams are separated by 16 miles. That's where the schools are, 16 miles apart. But you honestly have, on one side of the road, kids are in the Stratford School District. On the other side of the road, you have them at Fairgrove. So there's
healthy competition.
No love lost there with the Mid-Lakes Conference. Stratford's 2-2 coming into the season. But the last 2 games, they've won back-to-back. They've scored an average of 45 points a game. Fairgrove, though, all they do is score points, averaging 53 points a game so far over those 5 games. So a lot of offense. Which defense is going to step up? That's always the big question, and we will find out with tonight's game of the week. It's going to have Danielle King there doing live previews at 5 and 6, as well as the Ozone wrap-up show at 11:30 tonight on the Ozark CW. And Marionville, just got to wrap it up, Class 1. They are, once again, a strength at 5-0 there. But football, of course, that's in the regular season.
Right.
After tonight, 2/3 of the way through, and then we'll have the district playoffs going all the way up to the state championships. You've got a lot of other sports that are starting to wrap up, like tennis right now, heading into districts. Golf is starting to wrap up things, cross country. So there's 9 fall sports right now that are kind of hitting that stretch run. Soccer, that's one of them. The Rogersville Wildcats, they have won 40 games over the last 2 seasons, a district title, and it's really been thanks to a pair of seniors who are going above and beyond. Danielle King has their story right now with this week's Athlete of the Week.
Statistics do not define Stuart McDonald and Brady Goodson. Stuart led the Wildcats last season in goals, but his versatility makes an even bigger impact on the team.
We've had him play pretty much every position. So he creates so much more than he scores. We've put him in a scoring role. I think he's still more comfortable distributing and being a playmaker.
Brady, on the other hand, makes minimal saves because of the Wildcats' heavy presence upfield. But don't mistake his lack of work with a lack of ability.
Brady's such a comfort in the back because I know how good he is. A lot of people don't because they don't see him in action. But he's a good presence in the back. He talks to the backs, keeps them organized, gives me a little bit of peace to know he's back there.
These 2 All-State players lead the way for their Cats, but they refuse to take all the credit.
Everybody needs to have everybody. So like me and Stuart didn't do this just ourselves. You know, we had our team to do it with us.
We can move the ball. I mean, they make me look good. It's not myself for sure, but
They say their team's play style is like ice cream.
vanilla is really good, and that's just the base. And so we want to be more than just the base, and so we want to add the toppings in, and we want to do all the other stuff.
The toppings translate on the soccer field as
Being creative and making some runs, just find pockets. See if you can either create or take space. Just do something, see the game differently.
if these 2 could pick their toppings.
We're all the toppings, honestly, especially when we're moving it good out there. I mean, we're M&Ms, we're Reese's, we're cookie dough. Cookie dough, that's the best for sure.
Sprinkles, you know. I feel like we're all different in our own aspects, but we all come together. And tastes pretty good.
And with this duo leading the way, the cherry on top of the sundae may just be a trip to state. With your Athletes of the Week, Danielle King, KY3 Sports.
And I love that they're using an ice cream analogy to really describe the parts of the team that you need to have in order to be successful in that.
Well, speaking of soccer and ice cream. No, but speaking of soccer, just want to end it with Missouri State. The soccer team remains undefeated, ranked 9th in the nation. They had a 1-1 draw at St. Louis University this past week. The Bears soccer team has always been a big strength here in our area, and if you have a chance, beautiful facility, head on out there and try and catch those soccer Bears.
Yeah, well, I mean, a lot to do this weekend. Obviously, we've got sports going on this weekend. A little bit later this morning at 10:15, we're going to be talking about weekend events as well. And, of course, have a quick recap of weather because we know it's going to be absolutely beautiful. So if you need to get out to a game, still a good time to do it.
Or maybe the lake. You got one more week to take in the lake, and then
Priorities.
I hear next week's not going to be so great. So.
No, next week will actually feel like fall. We hope. We hope. In the meantime,